Hello everyone. Immigration has become a big industry in Ireland. Now, I've spoken on numerous occasions about various facets of the immigration industry, and today I want to speak about one part of this, which is a big part, which would be the commercial property owners and the profits being made by commercial property owners, by international and national private equity firms and high net worth individuals behind this, making massive profits and getting a huge transfer of wealth from public purse into private hands, so enriching the already rich and the billionaire class in society. Now, over the past number of weeks, there's been a report issued to say that the Citywest Hotel in Saggart in West Dublin has been used for the last number of years for international protection applicants, is going to be bought by the Irish government. Now, there are reports that the figure could be €100 million. Now, it's interesting because the Citywest Hotel has a long history in Ireland. It goes back to the time of Jim Mansfield, who built that hotel, 764 rooms. It was famous for many international sporting events that were held there. There was an 18-hole golf course, and as well there was a conference centre that was built, apparently without planning permission. This conference centre held many events, and coincidentally the Fianna Fáil Ardèche was held in that self-same conference centre. Now, after the financial crash, we obviously had the National Asset Management Agency that came in, NAMA, and we all know that the bankers were bailed out while the people were sold out. Now, this is important in the facet of this because in 2013 a company came in, Tetra Capital and PIMCO, bought the Citywest Hotel for just less than €30 million. Now, what's been happening over the past number of years has been fascinating in terms of the Citywest Hotel. But if you look at the person who's behind Tetra Capital, there's a guy called Michael McElligott. He was involved with a company previously from Breton Capital, and he previously worked with Communicore. Communicore, of course, people would know, is famous for Dennis O'Brien. And Dennis O'Brien had an awful lot of media control in Ireland for many years. And of course, currently there is a file with the DPP regarding the Moriarty Tribunal and the payments that were made to by Dennis O'Brien, such as Michael Lowry, who's the so-called kingmaker in the government in waiting in Ireland. Now, what's really happening with this is that he was friends with Paul Connolly, who was a financier and a friend of Dennis O'Brien also. Now, he transferred into this company called Breton, and they were involved in buying the Marker Hotel, and obviously many other golf courses and famous golf courses around Ireland, such as Mount Juliet Golf Club and Estate, Mount Wolseley, Citywest, and currently they're in the stages of purchase, and actually they've purchased Deer Park out in Holt, the old Holt Castle estate, and coincidentally they own Ireland's Eye, an iconic part of Irish history, is owned now by this Vulture Fund. Now, it's interesting because behind me is where the offices of Tetra Capital are, on Europa House in Harcourt Street. Behind that, as the Lewis passes. So, huge money being made in there from the public purse. Now, what's very fascinating about this is the fact that since he set up Tetra Capital, it's been a big push towards the real estate business. Now, back in 2016, it was reported that he had 450 employees and were in control of, I think it was about €1.5 billion worth of assets. Now, many of those would have been in the real estate and commercial properties also as well. Now, what's also very fascinating with this is the fact that in 2018, the company PIMCO that bought the Citywest Hotel with Tetra Capital was funding, actually Starwood Capital became involved and loaned money to Tetra Capital to buy out PIMCO, another big private equity firm as well. Now, they're only based up the road here on the Harcourt building, just up in that direction behind me. So it's very interesting because the state contracts were then coming at rampant speed by the Irish state through the COVID contract, for instance. People will be familiar that the Citywest Hotel had the COVID contract in Ireland for testing as a testing centre, and obviously for the isolation centre, using the hotels for rooms for that purpose during that period of time as well. And that was about 23 to 24 million euro that was raised through that deal. Now, since 2021, it's been used as international protection, and there are reports that over 150 million euro has been paid across to Tetra Capital. Interesting, isn't it? Now, what's interesting with this is a couple of facets. Is the Starwood Capital side of it, because Starwood Capital are an international vulture funds, a private equity firm they would be known as, or an investment firm that have come into Ireland because of the financial crash, that were opened the doors by the Fine Gael government and through the Troika and through the bailout to come in and buy up distressed assets and knock down values. Now, they were big benefactors of NAMA. They purchased over 30, a tranche of about 30 to 40 properties at huge knockdown prices, but it made huge profits from it as well. A lot of commercial premises and, of course, other forms of real estate. Now, also, what's also very important with this is the political connections, because obviously we have the political system that enforces and enables this to happen. And in 2015, new legislation was proposed by Simon Harris, surprise, surprise, when he was the Minister for State at the Department of Finance. And it was called the Irish Collective Active Management Vehicle. Now, this is interesting because this is known for short as ICAV. Now, this is another way to have no transparency, no tax, no really oversight in terms of company law or regulations. It makes it easier for these companies to come in and operate, and it's very hidden in terms of who's behind these companies. So currently Tetra Capital is working as one of these ICAVs, all facilitated by the political establishment. And this is what's happening in Ireland. They're using these vehicles now to escape any sort of sanction and any sort of transparency and no taxation around this issue. And this was brought in back in 2015 at the behest of the International Financial Services Clearinghouse, a non-elected, unaccountable body that have a key lobbying part in the Irish political establishment. And of course, Simon Harris was an able lapdog to pursue this. At that time, very few questions were asked. Of course, this was supported whole scale by Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and some of the so-called opposition. Now, this is what's happening in Ireland today, where we're having these faceless individuals should be exposed, should be called out for who they are, who are benefiting from the misery of what's being created because of the immigration industry in terms of ordinary working class people who are suffering. And only down the street from here, there are about 4 or 5 tents on the street. And in the last week of bitterly cold weather in Ireland, we've seen the ones at the sharpest end of society struggle and suffer to exist, while so much money is being transferred into the hands of these private profiteers. And if you consider, nearly 200 companies have been made millionaires and individuals because of the immigration industry. And at the same time in Ireland, the top 1% of the population, according to an Oxfam report last year, said they had 35.4% of the wealth. So what more of the money in our society is getting funneled upwards and upwards and upwards, while ordinary people are suffering and can't get hospital appointments, struggling to get housing, struggling to get basic services and basic needs met in our society, while these people in here behind Europa House are the ones who are making huge profits off ordinary people and creating huge issues moving forward. They need to be highlighted, they need to be exposed, but also need to contact your representatives around what's going on and the whole charade and nonsense that's gone around the whole immigration industry, where people are being taken for absolute and utter fools to what's going on. So thanks a lot for the support of my videos. Please press subscribe and please share my videos, and I'm very grateful for all your support. So from Dublin, Slán, take care, bye bye.